My name is Debbie Robinson. I have taught at Centerville High School for 25 years. I teach 9th through 12th grade, family consumer science.
My name is Kathy Uhlenhake, and I've been teaching in Iowa the last 20 years, 22 years. I taught in Moravia at the high school, 7 through 12. I taught Spanish, and I was the media specialist, and then this is my 6th year at Centerville High School as a media specialist, grades 9 through 12.
The unit started with a general overview of the 5 nutrients and the importance that they have for individual health and nutrition. So we named our unit, Are You Nutritionally Correct? And with that in mind, they kind of started on an adventure analyzing everything that they ate. So after I armed my students with some information about the nutrients, and they kept track of what they ate. Then with this Dine Healthy program, they plug all of that in, do data entry, and it analyzes all the carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Then it also analyzes the vitamins, A and C. It does minerals like calcium, phosphorus, and iron. And my students were not aware of all the nutrients that they were eating. What they were aware of was all the fast food. And surprisingly, some of the fast food actually was kind of healthy. So they did learn that. Then the students had all this information at their hand, which is in the synthesis portion of the Big Six. And so they would synthesize everything that the computer gave them on the printout and match it up on a sheet, a worksheet type of deal called the dietary analysis packet. So they had to analyze their own information about themselves to answer questions on the packet. Then they prepared nutritious snacks and ate them. The goals and objectives of the Are You Nutritionally Correct? Well, we had 3. One was to learn the Big Six and implement the Big Six. One was to teach nutrition and to make sure that my students were healthy and knew about how to be healthy. And the third one was to involve the new technology, which is the Palm Pilot. Assessment is achieved in the family and consumer science area in lots of ways. So lots of the things that we do are hands-on. So of course that would be very subjective, but we do have a rubric that the students know about ahead of time, and they are working towards the completion of the steps on the rubric. I have them also evaluate themselves, and we have a group activity evaluation, which is set up like a rubric, and they really analyze what they have done and how well they feel that they completed the job. The dietary analysis worksheet is the assessment for the nutrition unit, and whether they get the answer correct or incorrectly, of course they'll get points for that. Now for me as a teacher, that is a little bit of a grading challenge because no 2 papers are alike, so there's no key. So what my students have spent days doing, then I have to do the same thing and go back and analyze their nutrients and see if they've looked up the information correctly and transformed it to a sheet. So there's 4 assessments that we use for this unit.
We decided to use Palm Pilot. That is something new out there that I had wanted to learn how to use myself. It seems the new thing of the future is to have some, instead of a planner or a tracker, to have some technology to use. And so I had been thinking that I wanted one, and Debbie and I were talking, kind of brainstorming ideas, so we decided that that might be fun to use. And it was in a price range we thought that we could afford as far as buying, and so we went ahead with the Palm Pilot and learned how to use it. I think it was everything really we thought it would be as far as the technology and keeping track of the students' food intake so that it could be input into the computer. We also managed to teach the students some extra strategies as far as using technology and using computers.
One of the teaching strategies that I've used for years and always works really well for me is dividing up my classes into cooking families or grouping. I don't know if you can tell by the video or not, but we have a very small kitchen, so the groups have to work well together. So what I do usually is I take the higher achieving students, and maybe I'll have 4 in a class, and I'll divide it, 1 through 4. Then I'll take the lower students or special needs students, and I'll divide them also into the class. And then I'll fill in the middle with the average students. And I also try to equalize the amount of boys and girls in a kitchen. And it has never failed for me. It has always worked.
The instructional strategy I used when teaching the Palm Pilot was interaction. The students could actually hold Palm Pilot in their hand and work with it. They could help each other a little bit as far as in a sort of group setting, like working on a computer when somebody figures out something a little faster than somebody else, and so they share. We let them beam notes, sort of a high-tech note passing. You write on the notepad, you can beam it to another person. That was very exciting. And then the hot sync, that was something new that they learned the day of the video. They hadn't done that before, although we had told them about that. And I would say interaction and a hands-on activity that was the main strategy for us. The students were able to process information on the computers with the Palm Pilots. They had been in the media center gathering information. We had gone through the Big Six on looking for information, finding it, processing it, and that it fell very well into the Big Six problem-solving strategy. They learned a lot, I think, in the computers. They got to find information in our vertical files and on software in the computer lab upstairs as well as the media center. And they kept track of a lot of their information right on the Palm Pilots. So that was a good way to process it. Well, as a media specialist, I think it's part of my job to help teachers develop instructional activities, and technology is certainly part of that. Using computers, using software. The Palm Pilot was something new that we tried. We have quite a few types of equipment and AV equipment and computer equipment up in the library, so I think we were able to utilize that. At the end of this activity, I feel great. I think we accomplished a lot. I think the students demonstrated that they accomplished a lot. I think they enjoyed what they were doing. I think the collaboration was just great. I'd like to do it more often. As a media specialist, we like to collaborate with teachers, and we like to be a part of the instructional process of helping, enhance the class.